Hi there, it's been a while since I've done anything in the workshop and it's well overdue. I rolled this VFR in here, I reckon almost 2 years ago, and I can't believe that time has gone by and I have done very little. Now, I have been busy and getting free time is really quite difficult nowadays. And been doing quite a lot of DIY stuff. I've done a lot of stuff in my garage to make it better for storing stuff, especially for bits and pieces that I'm taking off this. I had to repair a very slight leak in my garage roof, so I've been fixing that. I had a massive loft clear out. Oops, sorry, knocked out there. A massive loft clear out, in which I managed to fill up a 12-yard skip. Can you believe it? Unbelievable amount in the loft. It's been there for well over 15 years and it was needing to be cleared out. So there's been one thing after another, as well as other motorcycles and other things I've been doing. And I did get the fork legs done on this bike, and I sort of stripped all the brakes, but I haven't got round to putting the kits in them yet. So I've done really very, very little. I've just been sidetracked by everything else I've been doing and kind of forgotten about the bike a bit. I have had it running a few times just to keep it circulating the oil and so forth. But the time has come to get on with it and get it back on the road, because I have missed it and I really kind of wished I'd got it on the road this year and it never happened. So I definitely want to make it happen next year. It's not a restoration, as I said before. It's sort of a light refurbishment. It's kind of like doing all the maintenance tasks and doing a bit of tidying up and a bit of protecting of stuff that's maybe needing to be repainted or so forth. It's a nice, honest, old-fashioned bike, and all I'm doing is keeping it on the road and keeping it very much to the original condition that it's in. So my plan is to get on with doing the valves. Now, I was sort of looking through the service records and decided in the end I would contact the previous owner. So I bought off him over 3 years ago, and I dropped him a text, and he'd owned it for 18 years. So, you know, I just asked him, had he ever looked at the valves? And he said no. And there was only 2 previous owners to him, and he said, I don't think anybody's ever looked at the valves, if I'm being honest with you. I don't think there's any record of it. So that was that then. Decision made, I need to go and check them. And especially whilst I've got the front end off, it makes a lot of sense. The radiator could do with getting a little bit of a coat of paint as well. It's not too bad, but some of the surface paint is coming off it. It's not rusty or anything. So normally you can just swing that out the way to get into the valve covers, but I'm actually going to take it off. I'm going to drain the coolant because I was going to change the coolant anyway. I'm going to take the radiator off, and then I'm going to get that. I'm going to paint that so that it's a bit tidier. And I'm going to get the petrol tank off and get in about doing the valves. So the plan of attack is check the valves, see what the measurements are. If those need adjusted, then that's a bigger job, because the camshafts have got to come out, and then I've got to work out, you know, what shims are in them and what I need to get to replace. So that becomes a much bigger job. But if that's got to be tackled, then it'll be tackled. The bike's done just over 31,000 miles. Right, so I'm just going to take this bolt out. Tight. Oh. We've got 10mm. I'll cut me unscrewing this out because there's no point filming some certain stuff. Right, so I can see that when I lift the tank that the fuel tap is coming with it. So that does need to get extracted along with the pulleys, I think. So if you look in here, you can see that this pulley is on the tank, and if we lift the tank, you can see it's wanting to come with it. So as I thought, you've got to take the pulley off, I think. Right, I believe the manual tells you that the arrow should be pointing forward at the sort of 9 o'clock position, and that proves that the tap is in the off position. But I have obviously turned it off in the off position on the control on the dash there. Yeah. That then comes out, so there you can see that I've got that part out. So this is thing we're into here. It's locking it all together. When we take that out, it's got a little notch there for that to go back in, so it's on the right position. And there you can see the square for turning the fuel off and on. But this is still attached to the tank, so you have to take that off to get this out from there. Otherwise, this screw here is holding it to that tap. You wouldn't be able to remove this because this would be stopping it. So that's why you've got to take that off. So the next bit should be now just taking these screws out, and of course not in the best position for doing this on the lamp. One out. I don't want anything to fall away here. Right, so that came out there from behind. It must slot onto something. So you can see that there, the screw, and then there's a slot. Okay, so there you go. The whole mechanism comes off, and there it is. There's the cable. That's for turning the fuel off and on. That's it off. Let's see how far we can take this up. Yeah, that's a very unusual thing, but we know that notch goes to the top, so we know when it goes back on, that notch goes to the top. So we can maybe just put that out of the way now. Okay. Let's see if I can get you a bit closer here. So I don't know if you're going to see that, but inside here there's a fuel hose with a clip you've got to squeeze together. Pull the clip back. It is stuck quite well. Right, so we're going to have a go at getting into all of this and getting the valve clearances checked. So what the idea is, I'm going to take this cover off. I'm also going to take the front cover off, and get them both off at the same time, and then just go over the clearances. Comically, I've marked the spark plug lead with the cylinder number, and I realised that these leads actually have got the numbers printed on them, but it doesn't matter. It's now overkill. So first thing is to get the things out your way that you don't need. So we can get rid of these, and if need be, if they become a problem, we can cable tie them out of the way. We're going to have to take this out as well. We'll take the spark plugs out, but we'll wait until we get the cover off, I think, so that there's less chance of stuff going down the holes. And once we get the covers off, we'll then can cover the holes. But until we at least get the cover off, we'll just leave spark plugs in place. Right. Now we could use a bit of heat on this if it was proving really stubborn. I reckon with a little bit of just constant pressure on it, it should pop off. It's almost there. There we go. And then what we'll do is we'll turn it off the air filter. And there we go. That is a well stuck on bit of pipe. I'm probably actually trying to remove the worst that I can remove. Okay. We'll try a different day. Right, so just to make life easier there, I've taken it off of this end because I think that end was going to be tough and there's probably more chance of breaking the connector. So we'll just put the hose clip back in place and we can now get this out of the way a bit. So that should at least take me out of give me the angle I need. Got, like all things in the mechanical world, these should be done in a diagonal pattern, even when you're dismantling them. Like I said, when you go to tighten them back up, it's always worth following the manual and seeing what it says. Yeah. Right, so I didn't even have to hit the cover, it's just coming off. So just getting it out is going to be the trickiest part. And there's a way, there's a will. Okay. Just stick this in here. I'll take the plugs out once we actually go to crank the timing over. So I'll take the plugs out. But until then, I'll just keep that covered so that nothing can fall down it. Any crap out of it. Right, so next job is we'll do the front end. Okay, so to take the radiator out, we've got a bolt up the top there. And at first I thought that there was a bolt on this side, but it isn't, it just slides off the pole on that side. Because I was at the point where I thought, Christ, I couldn't feel anything, I'm going to have to take the upper fairing off, is what I was thinking. That bolt's not going to be easy to get back in, but I'm sure I'll manage it somehow. Hopefully that just slips on the pole, then it'll line it all up for me, and it's just a matter of getting the bolt started. Right, just put the bolt back in the bracket so I know where it is. When I was an apprentice, I worked on Reynolds, and there was always impossible bolts to be gotten at, and it was amazing how you just developed your body to be able to get into things that was almost seemed impossible, but you did it. Some of the bolts that we used to have to get into were just unbelievable. Anyway, there's that bolt out, and I can assure you it's not going to be enjoyable putting that back in. Oh, there's a toughie. Hopefully we can break it loose. Just a matter of being patient. Try and see if I can get a twist on it. There's the radiator out. There's the hose off. That wasn't planned that way, but we have the radiator out of place. Okay, this seems to be rubber. I feel something still. Right, so what you'll see is that I've had to take the upper fairing off. That was always going to happen the minute I was going near the radiator, but I only realised that when I started it. Getting the upper fairing off, take the wing mirrors off. There's a couple of screws at the back here with panels that come off. Because I had already disconnected this anyway from the fuel tank, I just left that all in place. You have to disconnect the headlights and you have to disconnect the indicators and this cable here and your headlights, and then there's two main bolts at the side, and then you just have to stretch it apart and pull it away from the frame, and that's honky dory. And then the one thing that's stopping the radiator from coming, and this is useful for anybody else that starts this and doesn't really look at too much to look for these problems in the first place, but I'll pass it on. This is the cable that's stopping me getting the radiator out, and as you can see, once I've got the fairing off, it's a lot easier just to see that it's just a connector here. So I'll get that disconnected and that should be the radiator coming out. Right, so getting the front cover off, much the same as getting the back cover off. So there was no point showing you that. In the end, like I said, I had to take the upper fairing off because of the radiator. I think it was going to be an almost impossible job to get all that back in with that top fairing in place. It was just going to make it very, very difficult. And well, actually it's maybe given me a little bit better access anyways. You can see I've got beautiful access to the front cylinders. Now I'm at a stage where I can measure the valve clearances, and it's the end of Sunday. I've had enough. I've taken everything off, I've put it all away in my new fantastic shelving system, so it's all out the way, it's out the workshop, I don't have to worry about it. The front cowling, the seat, the front visor, all those bits and pieces, the petrol tank, all that is sitting on my nice shelving. All the side panels, everything I've taken off basically is out the way, so it's not lying around clutter in the workshop. I mean, the condition of this bike is actually very, very, very good. I mean, you've got to remember this is a 1991 bike. So the next job, I'm going to cover that obviously so that nothing can go in it. The next job is I'll whip the spark plugs out and I'll do the valve clearances. That'll be my next job. And then, of course, if they are out of spec, then we get the fun job of lifting the camshafts out and having to do the shims. Now, I'm partially part of me hopes that I have to do that because I'll get the experience of doing it. There's another part of me that thinks, no, I can just do without it. If they're all in spec, I might be quite happy. But if they're not, then it is a job I'm going to have to tackle and I'll be prepared for it. So there we go. That's basically the routine for getting into this stuff. I don't know how well I've videoed it. To be honest with you, it's quite hard to video when you start getting diverted, you know, because of issues or problems like I did with the radiator. Where I can, I'll put screws back in so that, you know, I'm not going to go hunting for them. That's a habit that I've always had. I tend to put the screws back where they can go. And then what I've done with the anything I've taken off pertaining to the engine, I've put into bags and I've put a little post-it note in to say exactly what it is. So hopefully between the two systems I'll get everything back together safely. But overall, I mean, this bike is in really fantastic condition. It's not been abused. You know, like I say, if it's 34 years old, a lot of them would be rusted to hell by now, and this one isn't. It's just, it is quite a nice solid bike, and it will stay that way because I'll never use it in winter weather. I'll never use it that way. It'll be used as a summer spring toy. But there you go. So the Abba Skylift makes life quite easy, doesn't it? I mean, I've managed to adjust it up to make it a bit easier to get into all this, and it's going to be fine for doing the valves. So it is a bit of a job to get into it all. You don't have to take the top fairing off. You don't have to take the radiator off. I took that off because it needs refurbished. It needs a wee bit of liquor paint. I've cleaned up in the liquor paint. That's what made the job more difficult for me. If I hadn't had to do that, then it wouldn't have been quite so bad. But while I'm at it, I'm going to get the yokes out and have a look at the bearings. So that'll be sort of my next job once I've got the valves sorted. So concentration now is on the valves. I know it's been a bit sort of all over the place. I'm still, you know, I'm not used to filming myself doing stuff. I normally just get on with it. But I will try and get better at it and try and show more. But it's quite hard when you're trying to actually just do the work and get it done. The bike is looking quite stripped down now, isn't it? It's got so much off it. It's looking very naked. But it has moved on, and hopefully I can get on with the valves and get those done. That'll be the next job now, will be to check the clearances. And I have taken some photographs as I've gone along just to try and keep me right with some routing and cabling and that kind of stuff. Just stuff that I could reference if I get stuck. Obviously I'll be changing the air cleaner, so we could do that as part of the service. We'll be doing the fuel filter. That's a job once everything else is bolted together. Once I get everything bolted together and everything sorted out and the engine's all sweet, the next thing I'll tackle is this area backwards and try and get the chain cover off, get all that cleaned up, see if I can do anything with any of the covers to try and tidy them up a bit. Just give it a general good clean maintenance job under there. Check the swinging arm out, make sure everything's okay with that. But that might have to wait. Because this stand obviously impedes that at this stage. But I have got a fitting kit for this so that you can lift it up using, I think, the foot peg bolt. So that the swinging arm is free. But that's a job for another, that's further down the line once we get everything else finished. But I will be looking at the back end, trying to sort it out, tidy it up, so forth, clear it. But that's it. That's it for today. It's consumed quite a bit of my weekend. Luckily I've got videos. It's not something I want to leave too long before I come back to it. I'd like to get it done ASAP. I'll get the valve clearances done certainly this week, or this week coming, or by next weekend. I'll be itching to get out and see what they are, so I'm sure I'll be out before then. And I'll get that done, and then I can start putting the bits and pieces back together. I did buy new rocker cover gaskets. Whether I needed them or not, I don't know. I'll have a think about the cam bolt seals, whether I might be just replace those and just replace a lot, because let's be honest, if the valves are in spec and it's done 30,000 miles, 31,000 miles, what's it done exactly? 31,786. If the valves are in spec, will I ever be at it again? You know, in my lifetime? I mean, I doubt it. So if I just do it all and fit the proper seals and do it all in one go, then that'll be it probably for me, because I'm not going to last that much longer. Right, well, thank you for watching, and I hope some of it helps. It's going to be a bit sketchy, I know, I'm sorry, but hopefully every little, you know, the more videos you get to look at through other people, every single video you look at, there's always something in one of them that's relevant and you don't get in another. So hopefully there's at least something in here that helps you. I'll do the valve clearances next, and you know, I can go over how to do it, so I can do that, but there is videos online. We'll see. Anyway, enjoy what's left of your weekend. Okay, take care. Bye for now. Stop recording.